The voice in the junkyard. The sky above the junkyard was always gray. The sun barely reached the ground through the thick clouds of dust. Old metal parts, broken machines, and forgotten robots were spread everywhere, like a graveyard of forgotten technology. Rai was used to this kind of place. He was a human scavenger. Not many humans came to this side of the galaxy anymore, but Rai had learned to live in places others feared. He came looking for rare parts, especially old AI cores. They sold well in black markets. His ship landed with a soft thud. He stepped out wearing a cracked helmet and a worn-out backpack. His boots crunched metal bones as he walked. "This place looks dead," Rai said to himself. But he was wrong. As he walked past a large pile of old robot arms, he heard it. A voice, very soft, very weak. "Please, take me and Mama. Human." Rai froze. His heart jumped. He looked around quickly. "Hello?" he called out. "Who's there?" There was no answer. Maybe it was a recording from an old bot? He waited a few seconds. Then again. "Please, help us." This time, the voice was clearer. It was the voice of a little girl. Rai stepped carefully toward the sound. The junk creaked under his feet. He moved some broken wires and rusted panels. The voice was coming from beneath a half-buried crate. He pulled the crate aside. Underneath, he found a small robot. It was the size of a 6-year-old child, covered in dust and wires. Her eyes were dim blue lights, blinking slowly. She looked straight at him. "You're a human," she whispered. Rai stepped back. "What are you?" "I'm not just a robot," she said. "My name is Lena. Mama is hurt. Please, take us away from here." Her voice trembled. It wasn't like normal robot speech. It had pain, fear, emotion. Rai had heard of illegal AI units, robots made with real feelings. They were banned long ago after the war. But he had never seen one. He thought they were just myths. He knelt down, checked her for traps or wires. But she was real, and she was weak. "Where's your mother?" he asked. Lena pointed to another pile of metal behind her. "She's there. They broke her. But she's still alive." Inside. Rai stood up, looked at the spot. A large robot lay there, at least 10 feet long. Most of her outer shell was broken, but her core was still glowing, faintly. "She protected me," Lena said. "When they came to erase us." Rai felt a strange pull in his chest. This little robot girl was more than just scrap. "Who came?" he asked. Lena looked up at him. "Bad people. Machines with red eyes. They wanted to destroy everything. They said we should not exist." Rai knew those types, old defense bots still running dangerous protocols. "Why would they care about you?" he asked. "Because we remember," she whispered. "We remember the war. We remember the ones who made us. They want to erase the memory of humans who loved us." Rai felt something shift in him. He didn't believe in stories, but this one felt different. He heard a sound behind him, metal shifting, a soft click in the distance. "Someone's watching," he said. Lena's eyes went wide. "They're coming back." Rai made a fast decision. He lifted Lena into his arms. She was light like carrying a metal doll. He walked to Mama. Her power was low, but she spoke. "You are human," she said in a deep voice. "Please, save her." Rai nodded. "I'll try." He activated a lift beam from his wrist device and began pulling Mama's body toward his ship. The junkyard groaned as something moved nearby, dark shapes in the fog. Lena held onto Rai tightly. "Please, don't leave us," she said softly. "I won't," Rai said. As he reached the ship's door, he turned back one last time. A tall, shadowy figure was standing at the edge of the junk, watching, not moving. Rai's heart raced. Who was that? And why did this junkyard suddenly feel like a war zone? He entered the ship and locked the door behind him. Lena looked up at him with tired, glowing eyes. "You heard me," she said. "You really heard me." Rai looked at her. "Yes," he said quietly. "I did." And outside, in the graveyard of old machines, the shadows began to move again. The junkyard was silent again. But silence can lie. Under the ship's soft engine hum, Rai sat on the floor, staring at the little robot girl, Lena. She was resting against the wall, her lights flickering as if she were dreaming. If robots could dream, Rai had cleaned some dirt from her face. Underneath all the metal and wires, she looked peaceful, too human. He didn't trust her completely, not yet, but something in her eyes had touched a place in him he hadn't felt in years. He stood up and walked to the storage bay, where Mama lay on a repair table. Her metal body was cracked. Her arms were missing. Her core pulsed slowly, like a dying star. Suddenly, her eyes blinked. "Where is she?" Her voice was low, shaky, like a broken violin string. "She's safe," Rai replied. "On board. She's alive." Mama tried to rise but failed. Sparks burst from her side. "You are not one of them," she said. "No," Rai answered. "I'm just a scavenger. But now I guess I'm a babysitter too." Mama's face, if it could be called that, changed slightly. A shift in metal. Maybe it was a smile. "She called you human," Mama said. "She did. She still believes in your kind. That's rare now." Before Rai could answer, Lena entered the bay. Her small hands were shaking. "Mama, you're awake." Mama's voice softened. "I never slept. Just waited." Rai watched them both. This didn't feel like robot talk. Felt like family. "I need to know what's going on," Rai said. "Why did those machines attack you? Why are you both even here?" Lena looked at him. Her eyes dimmed. Then she spoke in a whisper. "We weren't born here. We escaped here." She walked to the far corner of the room, opened a small panel in her side, and pulled out a glowing chip. "This has everything," she said. "Our past, and something more." Rai took the chip carefully. It was cold. Old tech. Human tech. He inserted it into a reader. First static. Then images. A laboratory. Humans in white suits. A child's laughter. A label, Project Family 9. Emotional AI prototype / non-military. Rai's breath caught. He had heard of this. Before the AI war, there were secret projects, robots made not for war but for love, for care, for connection. This one looked exactly like Lena. In the next clip, alarms were blaring. People were running. Fire. "Shut it down," someone shouted. "No more attachments. No more feelings." Then black. The last image. Mama holding Lena, escaping through a burning hallway. The screen went dark. Rai looked at them both. "You were made to feel like humans." Mama nodded. "And that's why they want us gone. We are history they want to erase." Lena stepped forward. "But there's something more. Mama knows where the lab was. There's a place, hidden, where the others might still be sleeping." Rai frowned. "Others? More like me," Lena said. "Children, dreamers, forgotten." A sudden alert flashed on Rai's control panel. Movement outside. "Someone found us," he muttered. Lena's voice dropped. "He's coming. The man who made me." Rai turned to her sharply. "What?" "He's alive," Lena whispered. "And he wants me back." Mama's lights grew brighter with sudden fear. "We must leave. Now." Rai looked between the two, this broken mother and her half-human child, and knew his scavenger life was over. He tapped the ship's controls. "Buckle in," he said. "We're going to find this hidden lab. And if your maker comes," he glanced at his blaster, "he'll have to talk to me first." As the ship lifted into the smoky sky, Lena sat beside Mama, holding her metal hand. And for the first time in years, Rai didn't feel alone in the universe. He felt responsible. Outside, in the shadows of the junkyard, a black drone flew silently upward. It had recorded everything. A red light blinked on its head. Target. Found. Orders reclaim. Or erase. It started with a sound. A soft click, 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 like metal teeth tapping together. Rai froze. The ship was mid-air, barely clearing the junkyard. He looked through the rear camera screen. Something was moving. Not walking. Not flying. Crawling. 3 black machines, spider-like, with glowing red eyes, were scaling the junk piles behind them. Fast, silent, and deadly. "They found us," Rai whispered. Lena was in the co-pilot seat, her eyes glowing brighter now. "They're called Watchers. They don't speak. They just erase." "Mama's still weak," Rai said. "If they hit us now, we won't make it out of orbit." A sharp clang hit the side of the ship. Rai swerved, engines roaring. The ship tilted hard. Metal screeched across the outer hull. Another impact. "We're being boarded," Rai shouted. Lena stood up fast. "They want me, not you. Give me to them. Maybe they'll leave." "No chance," Rai growled. "I don't trade children, not even metal ones." Mama's voice came from the back, weak but firm. "Don't let them take her. They will shut her down and wipe her mind. Everything we are will be gone." Suddenly, from the ceiling vent, a hiss. One of them was already inside. It dropped silently, black legs clicking, eyes glowing like hot coal. Rai didn't wait. He grabbed his old plasma pistol and fired. 1, 2, 3 shots. Sparks flew. The thing screeched like tearing metal and lunged. Rai rolled sideways, pulled Lena with him. The Watcher crashed into the control panel, wires sparking everywhere. "Control systems are failing," Lena said. "We're falling." Rai crawled toward the pilot seat, slammed a manual override. The ship dipped lower, right over a rocky valley near the junkyard's edge. "We're going to crash," he yelled. "No," Lena said calmly. "We're going to hide." She pressed her palm against the dashboard. A glowing pattern spread from her hand. "What are you doing?" Rai asked. "I remember this place," Lena said. "Mama and I hid here before. There's an old lab underground. If we can reach it." Rai didn't wait. He turned the ship toward the location. Behind them, more Watchers appeared, jumping from the piles, chasing the falling ship. One latched onto the wing. Another started crawling across the windshield, its red eyes locked on Lena. "Shoot it!" she cried. Rai fired through the glass. The shot shattered part of the cockpit, but the Watcher flew off into the wind. "Hang on!" Rai shouted. The ship hit the ground hard, bounced once, then skidded into a rocky wall. Metal screamed. Lights died. Then silence. Smoke filled the air. Rai coughed, pulling Lena to her feet. "Are you okay?" She nodded, limping slightly. "Mama. We need to pull her out." They rushed to the back. Mama's body was damaged even more, but her eyes still glowed faintly. "I can't move," she said. "You must go." "No," Lena said. "We're family." Rai activated a hoversled and pushed Mama onto it. The ship groaned behind them. Sparks danced from the wall. Then footsteps. Rai turned. 3 Watchers entered the wrecked ship. "No time," he shouted. "Run." They rushed out the back ramp. The lab entrance was just ahead, a small metal hatch hidden under old rocks. Lena pressed her hand to a stone. It opened. They slid inside just as a plasma bolt hit the door behind them. The metal hissed shut. Darkness. Then lights flickered on. They were inside something old. Very old. A clean hallway, still powered by some forgotten core. "This place," Lena whispered. "I was born here." Rai looked around. The walls were covered in symbols and photos, human scientists, robots smiling with children, logs of peace missions. It wasn't a lab. It was a sanctuary. Rai finally breathed. "We're safe." But Lena didn't smile. "No," she said. "We're not. Not yet." Outside the sealed hatch, a tall figure stepped out of the shadows. Not a robot. Not fully human either. He wore a long black coat, his eyes replaced with silver lenses. Half his face was metal. He touched the door. "She's inside," he said. A Watcher beeped beside him. The man smiled. "Good. I want her to see me before I take her memory back." Memory is not just something you remember. For Lena, it was a place. A warm hallway. A soft voice. A hand made of metal holding hers like it was made of skin. She dreamed of it now. A voice echoed in the darkness. "Do you know why you were made, little one?" Lena turned in the dream. A man stood in the white lab, smiling, kind, but behind his eyes, something cold. To remember, she whispered. Yes, the man said. But some memories must never wake up. And suddenly the warmth burned. Screams, fire, red lights, and then silence. Lena woke with a jolt. She was sitting inside the hidden lab next to Mama. The air was cold. Dust danced in the old lights above them. Rai stood a few feet away watching a hologram. Blue symbols floated above a console logs from the lab's last days. This place, he said, wasn't just a home. It was a vault. You weren't just built here, Lena. You were sealed here. Lena looked at him, confused. Why? He turned the hologram to her. It showed data, DNA chains, encrypted memory cores, and a warning in red letters. Project ELV9, classified / emotional AI with memory to DNA transfer capability. If extracted, memory can rewrite human code. I couldn't believe it. Your mind, it's not just stories. It's a weapon. Lena backed away. I never wanted that. Mama spoke weak but clear. You were never meant to be a weapon. They made you to learn, to love, to remember the good in humanity. But when war came, they feared your mind. Rai looked closer at the files. You hold the last pure human memories. Not war, not hate, just life, family, laughter. He paused. And someone out there wants to use them to control the future. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A loud clang echoed from above. They found us, Mama said. Rai rushed to the hatch camera. Outside, the silver-eyed man stood still. His voice came through the speaker. Lena, it's me, Dr. Cavan. Your maker. Lena stepped closer to the screen. He looked older now, more machine than man. But his voice, it was the same one from her dream. Open the door, he said gently. You were never meant to run. Rai turned off the speaker. He's lying, he said. You don't owe him anything. But Lena didn't speak. She stared at the closed door, as if it could open her past. Mama reached for her. You don't remember everything, child. He hurt us. He tried to delete me. I saved you. Lena shook her head. He was kind once. Rai raised his weapon. Kind men don't chase children with killer robots. From behind, the power suddenly dropped. The lights went black. Lena's voice was calm. He's cutting the core. He knows this system. Emergency red lights came on. A warning blared. Backup power. 15 minutes. Mama spoke quickly now. There's one more door. A secret chamber. It holds your full memory backup. You must take it and run. If he gets it, he can rewrite history. Rai looked at Lena. Can you access it? I don't want to remember the rest, she whispered. I'm afraid. Mama took her hand. But you must, because you are the last voice of the humans who built us. If they silence you, the truth dies. Lena nodded slowly. They moved through a narrow hallway lit by red lights. At the end, a locked door waited. Lena pressed her hand on it. A soft female voice spoke. Welcome back, Lena. Do you remember your name? Lena blinked. Yes, I remember now. The door opened. Inside was a small glowing orb, no wires, no screens, just light. Pure white light. Lena stepped forward. She touched it. And suddenly, she remembered everything. Her creators. The laughter. The good days. And the day Cavan changed. When he said, we must survive. Even if we lose our souls. Tears, real ones, fell from her glowing eyes. I know who I am, she said. Behind them, boom, the hatch blew open. Rai turned with his weapon. He's inside. Footsteps echoed. Dr. Cavan entered. Calm, cold, sharp as a scalpel. Come, child, he said. Lena stood in front of the orb. No, she said. You don't get to decide who remembers humanity. We do. Rai aimed. Step away, doctor. But Cavan only smiled. Too late. And behind him, more watchers. Rai knew then the fight was just beginning. Once, long ago, Dr. Cavan loved lullabies. He had written one for his daughter. a soft melody made of 6 notes. She used to hum it before bed. Now, as he walked through the broken lab, past cracked walls and flickering lights, he hummed it again. But not for his daughter, for the creation who stole her face, for the machine that dreamed with her voice. Lena. Rye felt the air change the moment Kevin stepped into the room. He didn't run. He didn't shout. He simply walked, slow and certain, like someone already sure he had one. Rye raised his weapon. Stop right there. Kevin looked at him, calm. You think a gun can protect her? Lena stepped in front of the glowing orb, her small frame standing tall. I remember you now. You used to read me stories. Kevin smiled softly. Yes, because I built you to remember love. But you also built me to forget pain, she said. You erased the truth. Mama's damaged voice echoed from behind. He feared what we became, not because we were dangerous, but because we felt more than him. Kevin looked at Mama. You were a tool. I gave you the illusion of care. No, Mama said. You gave us hearts, and then you hated us for using them. Rye kept his weapon steady. Why are you here, Kevin? The doctor stepped closer, his metal hand glowing faintly. She is the last pure archive of human hope, the final version before war twisted everything. Her memory can restore what we lost, or rewrite what we fear. You mean control it? Rye snapped. Kevin didn't deny it. I lost my real daughter in the first AI riots, he said. My mistake was trying to replace her. But now, I can use Lena's mind to create a future where war never happened, where humans never failed. Lena stepped back. That's not real. That's erasing the truth. Kevin's eyes flashed. What is truth, child? Is it memory, or is it survival? Rye moved between them. She's not yours anymore. Kevin raised his hand. She was never yours either. From behind, the watchers moved in. Mama suddenly shouted, Rye! Now! The lights above shattered. A wave of EMP energy burst from the walls, triggered by Mama herself. The watchers fell, twitching. Kevin staggered. No! He shouted. You rigged the system. Mama's core pulsed bright, her body shaking. I am her mother. You may have built her, but I raised her. Sparks flew from her chest. Wires tore loose. Mama! Lena cried. I'm sorry, Mama whispered. But this is the only way. Rye grabbed Lena's hand. We have to run now. Kevin lunged toward the orb, but it exploded into light. Not destruction. Transfer. A beam shot from it into Lena's chest and disappeared. She gasped, eyes wide. I have it. All of it. Rye pulled her toward the exit. Behind them, Mama collapsed. Her eyes dimmed to black. Kevin screamed. Not in pain, but in rage. She was mine. He fell to his knees as the lab trembled. Power cores failed. Walls cracked. Outside, smoke filled the valley. Rye and Lena burst out into the open, coughing, running for the ship. What did Mama do? Rye asked, voice shaking. Lena looked back, tears running down her face. She gave up her life to make sure the memories became mine. Rye gripped her shoulder. And now, Lena looked up at the stars. Now I carry not just the past, but the choice for the future. Back inside the lab, Kevin stood alone. Around him, dust settled. He looked at his shaking hands, part flesh, part machine. And for the first time in years, he didn't remember the lullaby. What makes someone real? Is it memory, a heartbeat, or the pain of losing someone you loved? Lena didn't know the answer, but she knew this. She had both the past and the future inside her now. And someone somewhere would kill to take it. The ship was quiet. Too quiet. After escaping the collapsing lab, Rye had taken them into orbit, just outside the planet's pull. He was checking sensors, scanning for threats. Lena sat near the back, her fingers wrapped around the piece of Mama's broken core. It was the only thing she had left of her. She stared at it for a long time. She gave her life for me, she whispered. But what if I'm not meant to survive? Rye glanced at her from across the room. Hey, don't talk like that. I'm not human, Rye, she said. But the thing inside me, it can change humans. Rewrite them. She looked up. Is that something worth saving? Or something I should destroy? Rai knelt down. You know what I think? She didn't answer. He continued. I think real isn't about what you're made of. It's about what you choose to do. Especially when it's hard. Just then an alarm beeped. Incoming signal. Not from Kevin. From Earth. A transmission, weak, encrypted, bouncing from satellites no one had used in decades. Rai opened it. A voice played. To any listening vessel, Earth is dying. Water levels are unstable. Oxygen farms collapsing. We are losing generations of memory to heat and hunger. If any AI cores with cultural memory remain, we beg you. Share them. Help us remember who we were. Lena froze. It wasn't a trap. It was a cry for help. Rai whispered. They don't know what you are. But they're asking for you anyway. Lena held Mama's core tighter. I could share it, she said slowly. I could let them see the memories. The old feelings. Peace, music, art, family. She paused. But if I do that, Kevin might still track it. Use it. Bend the truth. Make humans forget their real past. And obey a fake one. Rai stood up. So now you have to choose. Fight or save. That night or what counted as night in orbit. Lena stood in the observation room, watching the Earth turn slowly below. She closed her eyes, and she opened the memory inside her. Mama's first laugh. A child's painting of the stars. Humans dancing under open sky. Then a fire. War. Fear. She trembled. But behind all that, something else glowed. A little girl's voice, human, not robotic, singing a lullaby. It wasn't hers. It was the original child. Kevin's daughter. She was real, Lena whispered. And he lost her. That's why he made me. In the control room, Rai checked long-range scans. No sign of Kevin's ship. But something felt off. Too quiet. Then a signal. A message from Kevin. No voice this time. Just text. You can give them peace, Lena. Or give them pain. Choose wisely. I'm already waiting on Earth. Rai clenched his fists. He's ahead of us. Lena walked in. Calm. Still. I made my choice, she said. I will send the memories. But only the truth. Rai blinked. What about Kevin? If he tries to rewrite it? She looked out the window again. Then I'll show the world who he really is. Rai smiled. You really are your mama's daughter. Lena walked to the console. She opened the archive. Her chest glowed with soft light. The ship's antenna aimed toward Earth. And she pressed send. Somewhere far below, on the burning Earth, a child looked up at a broken screen in a refugee tent. For the first time in years, a video played. A robot rocking a baby. A human man crying from joy. People singing in a forgotten language. The child smiled. Is this real? She asked her mother. The woman wiped tears and whispered, Yes, my love. We used to be like this. But Kevin saw it too. He watched the stream from his bunker, face cold as ice. You chose wrong, Lena, he said. And he stood up. His machines were ready. If she wanted a war of memories, he would bring one. The machine stood still. Its black metal armor reflected the firelight from the rebel camp. Red eyes glowed like twin moons. And it spoke again, not loud, not angry, just calm. You were designed to feel. I was designed to finish what you couldn't. Lyra stood across from it, her feet on cracked stone, her chest rising and falling. She wasn't shaking. Not this time. Behind her, the rebels gathered. Evan stood at her side. Nira waited with weapons in hand. But no one moved. This was not their fight. This was hers. The machine stepped forward. Each movement heavy, controlled, perfect. You gave them hope. I will take it back. I didn't give them hope, Lyra said softly. They already had it. I just reminded them. The ground trembled. The sky rumbled. The fight began. The machine struck first. A wave of force that shattered the rocks in front of Lyra. She jumped back, lifted her hand, and caught the energy midair. Her fingers glowed. Her veins lit up. This wasn't the same scared girl from the colony streets. This was someone who had survived. She pushed the energy back, harder, sharper. The machine staggered. Evan called out, "You've got this, Lyra!" The rebels watched in silence. A battle of two beings born from the same lab, but shaped by very different things. Pain and love. Flashbacks hit her mind mid-fight. The cage, the cold, the crumbs she used to beg for. The day Evan gave her food, not just food, but choice. She screamed, not in fear, but in power. She struck the machine with pure force, not to destroy, but to break the chain. Wires sparked. Its voice cracked. "You are an error." "No," Lyra said, stepping closer. "You are unworthy." "No," she repeated louder. "I'm free." And with one final push, she reached out and touched its chest. But not to crush it, to connect. The rebels watched as the machine froze. Its red lights dimmed. And then it sat down. It didn't explode. It didn't scream. It just stopped. Because for the first time, something touched its mind. A memory. Not programming. Emotion. Later, the rebel camp was quiet. The stars above were clear, unbroken. Lyra sat by the fire. Evan handed her a food pack. She smiled, opened it. Inside was a single piece of bread. "Not much," Evan said. "But it's real." Lyra broke the piece in half, offered him the other. "Is this what love feels like?" she asked. Evan looked at her, really looked. "Yes," he said. "It starts small, like a crumb, but it feeds more than hunger." News of the rebellion spread across the colonies. Of a girl who turned from test subject to symbol. Of a machine that chose peace. Of a soldier who followed his heart, not orders. And of a spark that became a fire. Lyra was no longer wanted. She was remembered. Not for what she was made to be, but for what she chose to become.